Hello YouTube, so today I'm going to be going over my wizard spec for Torment 6 and also for killing Malthael, because someone asked in the YouTube video for killing Malthael, so I'll go over it real quick. My wizard spec is pretty easy and straightforward, although it's a little gear dependent. It's basically just a magic missile conflagration spec, but that's your only damage ability. So I'll go through the gear first and that'll kind of explain the spec a little bit better. The gear for this spec that's kind of necessary, I think, for it is a Thunder Fury to get the lightning damage proc. Also, you're going to need the Talrasha 4-piece set bonus. How you get it's up to you. I'm currently using the helmet, the chest, and the belt. Optimally, I would have a Talrasha neck with similar stats to this, which would allow me to swap in, either an Endariel's helm, a Cinder Coat, or maybe like a Witching Hour for the belt slot. If I was able to, I would probably go with the Endariel's because it would bump me up to about 100% plus fire damage in addition to giving me the poison proc, as my plus crit hit damage is actually really good already, I think. But until I get a good Talrasha neck, which I haven't, this is the setup I'm stuck with. I'm using all guilds, shoulders, and bracers to get the 3-piece bonus from there. Using a pair of Mage Fist gloves, the Ring of Grandeur, of course, to make the set bonuses happen. Canes, pants, and boots to get the 8% damage. The boots, I opted to leave the movement speed on, which allows me to spend the Paragon points in intellect, as the other potential bonuses didn't really benefit my spec that much. I'm using a Stone of Jordan, and then of course Mirroball to make the whole build happen. So yeah, that's the basic gear overview. Unbuffed, I'm at, here are my stats unbuffed, but if I buff, there you go. So there's the stats right there. I'm not going to go through them. If you want to look at them, you can pause the screen and take a look. Alright, let's go through the spec. So the skills I'm using, primary skill is Magic Missile, of course, using Conflagrate to turn it into fire. And the Conflagrate also stacks a dot similar to the old school Rolling Ignite in Vanilla WoW. This is where all your damage comes from, pretty much. Black Hole with Spell Steal. Spell Steal turns Black Hole to Arcane, and usually just use it for grouping up enemies and as a CC, not really for damage. Energy Armor with Pinpoint Barrier, 35% armor, and also increases your crit hit chance by 5%. The negative impact on Arcane Power is negligible for this spec because you don't really use Arcane Power. Teleport with Fracture. At lower torments, you can get away with Wormhole. At high torment, like Torment 6, I prefer Fracture. The decoys are invaluable and buys you time, allowing your Black Hole to reset. So you have 2 CCs, you can kind of alternate. I'm using Familiar with Sparkflint for 10% more damage. And I'm also using Magic Weapon, Force Weapon to get another 20% damage on my Thunder Fury. As far as passive skills are concerned, if I'm solo, I'm using Blur for Torment 5 and 6. If I'm grouped or for Torment 4 and below, I use Glass Cannon to bump my damage up. I'm using Elemental Exposure. It's pretty straightforward. If you do Fire, Lightning, Arcane, Frost, whatever, it adds 5% damage per. So, good bonus damage. Unwavering Will, again, straightforward. You stand still and you get more of everything. Awesome. And then the passive Conflagration, which just piggybacks on this to add another 6% crit to everything I've hit with Magic Missile, which is pretty good. The only thing I changed from my Malthael fight is I replaced Black Hole with, what was it? The Crystal Shell ability in Diamond Skin. So Diamond Skin with Crystal Shell, which basically makes him absorb 140k damage, which I found was better for Malthael. But for normal playing, this is my spec all the time. The reason I don't have any other damage ability aside from Magic Missile, prior to getting the Talrasha, I actually used Meteor instead of the Sparkflint. Since I got Talrasha and the Thunder Fury, I find it's unnecessary because you get, I use an Azure Wrath sword on my pet, and he also has a Moonlight Ward necklace, so he's proccing the Arcane and the Frost Meteor every 8 seconds, and I'm proccing the Fire and the Lightning Meteor every 8 seconds. So every 8 seconds I'm getting 4 meteors for free, and then Thunder Fury is going off all the time, so I really don't find it necessary to have any more AoE damage or anything like that. So I'm going to kill Skeleton King real quick so you can kind of see the spec in action on Torment 6. Let's see. The only thing with this spec is you got to kind of play it a little more cautiously, kind of like a traditional caster, if you will. Just stay at range and nuke stuff. Oh, there's a treasure pygmy. Didn't even see that. Whatever. Okay. So it's nice. I mean, you got to kind of control the range a little bit better with this spec, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Just pretty much melts everything. Whoop. Ooh, I almost didn't see that explosion. So yeah, the spec's pretty straightforward, as you can see. Thunder Fury is going off. Meteors are falling from the heavens. It's pretty good. Yeah, some people opt for, I mean, I could use Andariel's helmet and a Witching Hour and a Cinder Coat right now, but I found I prefer the Talrasha bonus. It's just, I mean, it's really good. And I have a lot more stats as well, like a lot more health and stuff, because it's a well-rounded set. With the rolls I've gotten on Andariel's and the Cinder Coat, I lose a lot of health and toughness. I think I go from like 15k toughness to like 10k or something like that. Alright, look at that. Meteor is just coming in, just annihilating stuff. So yeah, this is on Torment 6, and I'm running through it, I mean, basically like Torment 3. Just real quick, oh, not skills. Yeah, so I'm at 1.9 million damage, 15k toughness, and basically 17k healing. Another good thing is I believe each one of the individual missiles procs its own conflagration dot, so you can actually have 3 different, basically, ignite stacks on a mob at a time. So the longer a fight goes on and you keep that stack, the more damage you do. So that's a nice benefit. And of course having the pet with proccing the frost and fire, and, or I'm sorry, the frost and the arcane is really good. If I'm by myself, like in a group, I still just keep the same spec because I'll proc 3 of the 4 meteors. I just don't do the frost one. Yeah. So I don't do the Frost Meteor, but I'll do Lightning from Thunder Fury and Fire from Magic Missile, and then Arcane I'll do every time I cast Black Hole, so I won't be getting as much use out of it as if the pet was doing it, because I'll get it every 8 seconds, but every time I cast Black Hole, so that's pretty good. So anyway, that's Skeleton King down. It's Torment 6, and that's my spec. So it's pretty straightforward. It's a fun spec to play. You just get a lot of free damage all over the place, and stuff just melts, so it's really fun. Alright, thanks for watching.